Hi there. Round number 2 on how to pack fragile art glass. A lot of you have asked me, how do you pack the long pieces, the long fragile pieces? Well, a lot of the techniques are similar, but there is some special things to do with it. There's a couple of things I wanted to mention before we get going that I got questions about from the last video, and that is, one is people wanted to put solid things around the tips of pieces and pack it tight inside the box. Wrong. Absolutely the worst thing you can possibly do. It makes it a target. You hit the edge of the box, it'll take that tip right off. Loose fill is the way to go. If you've watched the first video, you'll get the idea of that. I pre-cut a bunch of pieces just to speed up things. First off, the box I'm using is got 2 inches diagonally, corner to corner, in space, longer than the stretch that I'll be packing today. I pre-cut the foam. What I've done is taken a Sharpie and traced around the base, and then just simply cut it out. Now, if you make a mistake and cut it too big, not a big deal. You can always take little bits of foam and stuff it around the edges to make it solid again, so it's firm. Okay, after that, before we place it in the box, we're going to take a piece of cardboard, make a firm base on it, and tape it to this. If you remember from my first video, I broke my tape guns. Old trusty. And we're just going to tape that nice and solid to the styrofoam. The styrofoam, by the way, is roughly the same size as the base of the box. This one happens to be about ½ an inch shy as far as width, but that's okay. We'll make that work. Alright, 2 more pieces and good to go in there. More tape the better. Also, when using bubble wrap, which I'm going to be using next, I always go by BBB. The bigger the bubble, the better. So keep that in mind. ½ inch bubble is sort of what you want to go with. And that's sort of the largest that's kind of on the market. Generally on the market. You can find others, but they're more specialty. Okay, now set that in there. You can see right now, I'm pretty happy already. It's pretty solid. It's not going to go anywhere. Now, take the bubble wrap and just keep wrapping it around. Make sure it doesn't pop up as far as pop up in the base still. Just wrapping it. Make sure to cut a piece of that off. Too late now. We're live. Trying to do this as fast as possible so you guys don't get bored. Take your time when you're packing. Pre-think things out. There beats the other alternative of having a piece broken. Okay, now what I generally do is I generally try to go to the width of the styrofoam with the bubble wrap. And that's just, you'll see why in a second. Okay, I think we're pretty much there. About there. Piece of tape, take it. Without hitting the glass and breaking the arm off, that probably takes some tape. Alright, so we've got a pretty happy nest for this thing right now. And now it's going to be solid going up and down as well as side to side. Now what I do is I generally make a big ball for the middle. Oh, perfect. Okay. Like so. Now, same thing as the last video. We're going to tape that in. And tape it right to the base typically. That's what we do on the piece itself. Getting more and more solid already, I can feel it. One more. firewood at that heat. Okay, before I put it in the box, what I've also done is I've cut double piece, so basically 1 inch thick of bubble wrap, which I'm going to place in the bottom, just like a shock absorber at the bottom of the box, underneath the piece. In goes the piece. And we're looking pretty happy there already. You can see there's at least 2 inches of space on either side, either corner, so safe distance for packing. That's my rule of thumb in general, is always have 2 inches of space around, although you hold a piece of the itself. That way if there's any shock, it shouldn't get through. Okay, this is important again. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to pin that piece to the bottom using a couple pieces of just like so. Doesn't have to be taped down really well, and you'll see why later. It just has to keep it from moving by accident for right now. Alrighty. Okay, just to save a little time so that you don't hear all paper rustling like that, I've crumpled tight balls, I mean tight, of newsprint and put it all around the object here. Now, there's a few things you can use. You can use basically, like I said, the crumpled newspaper. If you're packing smaller items, shredded paper out of a paper shredder is awesome packing material. It'll make it like one solid little brick. Won't bust, no way. You throw it down a set of stairs and it'll be fine. Anyway, I'm going to continue on, just put a few more of these in, just for the heck of it. Just crumple, make sure you open up the pages, crumple them right. Like don't skip out and try to crumple a whole bundle at one time, doesn't work. Okay, and as you can see, I'm using the useless flyers that show up at the doorstep every week. One good use for them. Now, the other thing you can use, of course, is people love and hate it. Good old popcorn. Styrofoam popcorn. Or peanuts, I guess you would call it. Alright, get the bag open to help. There we are. I'm going to fill the rest of it just for the heck of it. Now the nice thing about this is with the peanuts around the edges of fragile bits, they will give before the glass does. So if it's whacked on the corner after this, it's not going to take, the impact is not going to happen on the glass, it will happen on the peanuts itself. You can fill this up fairly full. I got enough peanuts. It's a few more, handful more. Okay. You could always have a broom around after this, of course. And before your wife gets home and finds that there's peanuts everywhere in the whole house. Alright, so now why the 2 pieces here? These are 2 pieces of styrofoam on the sides. Now when we close the box, it makes it so that even upside down now, that piece is not going to move. It will stay where it's put, because of those 2 pieces holding it down. Broken tape gun, old tape. Okay, before we put it into the second box, that's the big one too as well, is you'll note I've taped on the bottom of the inner box, again, 2 layers, 1 inch thick, of bubble wrap. Another shock absorber. So now we have shock absorber on the outside, shock absorber on the inside. Okay. Now into the interior box, or the exterior box rather. You'll note this poor old box is kind of beaten up. So instead of throwing it out, what I did was I reinforced it all the way around with new cardboard. So it's solid. It's rigid again. Now this one is approximately 2 inches bigger again all the way around in this box. So there's room for, again, more shock absorbing materials. So we'll take and put this one inside with the bubble wrap on the bottom. So there's your bottom inch. Voila. Okay. And now, I'll put this on the ground so it's a little easier to see. Now we're just going to fill the rest of it with loose material with the peanuts all the way around and on the top. Close her up, and that will make it pretty much anywhere you want to ship. So if you have any questions after the video, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. Have a good one. Happy packing.